Welcome to the Independent School Podcast. This is the place for senior school leaders to discover innovative ideas and actionable tips that are going to help to strengthen their school's income streams and secure its future. My name's Juliette Corbett, and I'm a consultant, speaker and facilitator specialising in independent schools. So thanks for joining me today, and let's get started on this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this first strategy toolkit. So this is the first of 5 episodes over the coming weeks, which are going to be looking at a strategic response to COVID-19 for independent schools. Now, since the beginning of the pandemic, I've been facilitating a whole host of strategy response discussions for independent school heads and for fundraisers as well. And it's been an opportunity for them to structure their thinking around their school's strategic response. I've been doing the same for some businesses as well, and it's been really interesting that I've seen certain themes come through the conversations that I've been having, ways in which it's important to be thinking about your strategy in order to make sure that you have a coherent strategic response to the crisis. So what I'd like to do today is to run through a couple of those themes with you so that you know what to look out for when you're reviewing your school strategy. So you will have all noticed that things have changed so substantially that every single organisation needs to be re-looking at their strategic plan. Anything you had written before this crisis, it's a great starting point, but it needs to be reviewed from the ground up at this point. Now, in the coming weeks, I'm going to give you some structure for thinking through 4 stages you can go through in order to review your strategy. But this week, we're going to think about what are the 3 themes that are coming through from the conversations that I'm having. So first of all, you need to address head on the opportunities and the challenges that have emerged as a result of this crisis. This is not a time to be burying your head in the sand and hoping that everything's going to blow over. There are fundamental shifts occurring, and in most cases, a massive speeding up of existing trends within our external environment. And this should trigger you thinking about how are you going to take advantage of those opportunities and how are you going to meet those challenges. Now, this is all about focus. Strategy is all about focus. It's about focusing your scarce resources on the things that are going to actually make a difference. So the first thing you need to be doing is thinking about your business model. What are the opportunities and challenges that you now have in your business model, which were either there before but perhaps have become much more substantial, much more significant, or are completely new? Now, we talk a lot on this podcast about income generation, but actually cost control is another really important part of that equation. So thinking about the business model is the first thing to do, but you also need to think about things to do with your school culture and the way that you're delivering education. There's a lot of change that you'll have instigated over the last few months, and thinking about what's new and working really well that you want to keep. These might have been things that you felt a little bit forced into in the early days of the crisis, but which now you've got them up and running, actually you can now see the advantages to a new way of working or a new way of delivering your education. So thinking through what are the opportunities, what are the challenges, what's new that we want to keep, what are the things in our business model we want to strengthen. Analysing all of that is really, really important. The other thing to be thinking about is the coherence of the decision making that you've been undertaking over the past few months. Many schools were having to make very fast decisions in the early stages of this pandemic. The information was changing on a daily or even hourly basis. Government guidance was not necessarily clear and evolved over time. A lot of that decision making that took place was the best quality it could be at that time, but may not necessarily have been as coherent across the school as you would normally want it to be. So it's a good opportunity to review those decisions and make sure that you have coherence, that there is an underlying set of principles that have guided your decision making over the last few months. And it's not just coherence you're looking for, you're looking for opportunities to leverage as well. So this is to do with looking at making sure you're getting the most out of the work that your school is doing. So an example of this might be your marketing team could have spent a lot of time over the last month or two putting together virtual open days for prospective families. Now, that work has been time consuming and hopefully will bring benefits in terms of recruitment. But actually, there's another opportunity for that type of open day, and that's for the alumni. So making sure that your development office is learning from your marketing team, or indeed asking the marketing team to run an open day perhaps for alumni. That means that all of that work that the marketing team has put in to the technology and the structure of an online open day can be leveraged and used by the development office to ensure the school is also using that new skill set to enhance relationships with alumni. So you're looking for leverage, you're looking for coherence, and you're just making sure that all of the decisions across your school still make sense at this point. And the third thing that you want to be doing is thinking about how flexible or agile your school is. One of the things about fast-moving environments and strategy in particular in fast-moving environments is that you can no longer rely on a strategic plan to do the heavy lifting. You need to make sure that you have individuals in your senior leadership team, and preferably beyond it as well, who are able to think strategically about the decisions they're making on a day-to-day basis. That skill set allows you to respond quickly to change in a strategic way. So we're going to be thinking in one of the later episodes in this series about strategic thinking, what it is and how you can boost it both in yourself and others. The other key to being an agile organisation is to do with culture. So thinking about the way that your hierarchy is structured, the way that your committee structures work, how decisions are made, how budgets are set and approved, all of that sort of cultural and process-based decision making is really important, because when things are changing fast, you need to make sure that the information flows to the right people as quickly as possible, and that then decisions can be made as quickly as possible and communicated out to others. And one of the things that you will have probably learned over the last few months is that that can be either aided or prevented by the culture of your school and the structure and the processes that you use. So a great opportunity now is to strategically think about, are those elements of your school helping you to be agile and flexible in the current environment? So that's 3 themes to think through. So firstly, addressing head-on the opportunities and challenges that you face. Secondly, checking your decision-making for coherence and potential leverage. And thirdly, thinking about your skill sets and your culture with regards to the flexibility and agile nature of your school. So we're going to be covering elements that are going to help for all of these in coming weeks. So listen out for the future episodes. If you're interested in a strategic response discussion with me, then get in touch. My details are on the episode notes. So if you go to www.consultjuliet.co.uk/012, you'll find the episode notes for this week. Now, on there is also the link to download the research report, which I did last year, entitled Rethinking Strategy in Independent Schools. And this is a substantial research report which demonstrates best practice for strategy development and for developing a culture of strategic thinking in your school. So you can download that from the episode notes as well. I've also recorded some strategy briefing videos, which include a whole host of topics that we're not going to have time to cover in these podcast episodes over the next few weeks. So if you're interested in finding out more about strategic trial and error, or the importance of an ambidextrous strategy, for example, then do head over to the episode notes and the links are all there for you. Great, so that's it for this time. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. So that's it for today, and thanks for listening to the Independent School Podcast. If you want to make sure that you don't miss out on future episodes, you can sign up for my newsletter at www.consultjuliet.co.uk/sign up. There you can also explore the various ways that I help independent schools to strengthen their income streams and secure their future. Fantastic. See you next time then.